Hey, what is up YouTube? My name is Lance and I'm back with another video on Ark Survival Evolved, and this time I'm going to be going over basic and advanced Bloodstalker PvP and things you can do to improve your gameplay with a Bloodstalker. If you enjoy, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, it really helps me out a lot, but for now, let's get right into the video. So first, you gotta ask yourself, what type of roles does a Bloodstalker play and what type of PvP will I be getting into? Bloodstalkers are very fast on the land and water, but they also must need something to web onto. They can do a large amount of DPS, but very weak if they get hit by Gigas, Spinos, anything with a large amount of DPS. They are great because they have Stalker vision and it highlights players. You can see turrets, they'll show up red and everything. But they can also be very buggy. What I mean by that is you can get stuck on things, you can just not have your Bloodstalker work, your Bloodstalker can start walking up into the air, and if you're not on a good Xbox, you're going to be very laggy. They are probably one of the most versatile tames in the game because you can use them solo, group PvP, water, land, you can PvP in the air against wyverns. They're all around probably one of the best versatile tames that can be used for any situation. One problem every Bloodstalker rider comes across is getting picked by big wyverns, and especially voids, because they could just stun you off and then take your Bloodstalker away. Another great thing about Bloodstalkers is they have a ranged web attack that can pull people off of their tames, but if it gets hit by anything, it cancels the attack. There's been a few times where I've been reeled in by a Bloodstalker, and instead of trying to cut out, I just pulled out a flamethrower or tech rifle and shot it at it so that way it cut the web while it was reeling me in. And my favorite thing about Bloodstalkers is the fact that you can use tools and weapons while riding them. This is the main reason why I liked Griffins, was because you're able to pick people and use things like flamethrowers, or you're able to fabby people while flying in the air. But with Bloodstalkers, it's a totally different game because you're able to net people, you're able to hover through the air, flame, bola, like there's so many different things you could do with a Bloodstalker just because it pulls people off their tames and brings you very close to them. The only problem with this is if you're on the ground and you try to pull out a weapon, it brings the Stalker into like a weird standing walking stance. And it can be very awkward to use, and it's kind of hard to walk with, but it does give you a little bit of elevation if you needed to peek over a rock or something. Me personally, I would just rather use tools in the air while I hover. Another thing I love about Bloodstalkers is a lot of them are very like natural colors, like brown, black, green, and it's perfect for blending in the nighttime because you have spider vision, so you could see everything perfectly, your teammates, it's like almost you had a tech helmet on. But for other people, it's very hard to tell whenever a Bloodstalker is mounted to a wall or in the shadows like under a cliff or something, and it could be so good for sneaking up on people, especially if you're in the water and you're just trying to pop up and get a quick attack on someone. Them being so dark and kind of hard to see is just so OP to me. The last problem that a lot of Bloodstalkers run into is they could be netted, they could be Z'd, they could be dismounted, they could be weight grappled pretty easy, and your player can also be stunned off by Prolovias and Microraptors pretty easy as well. The only thing I could say to counter these is play in the water, carry light kits, and pre-net as much as possible. So now that you know the pros and cons of using a Bloodstalker and how to PvP with it, let's get into some of the clips that I have where I use them in PvP. In this clip, I was following a Shadowman down J3 Beach, and I was hovering super high in the air so that way he didn't know I was following him. I was just kind of following down the beach, making sure he stayed in render when I seen he ran up the tech bridge. I pull out my net gun to see if I can net him, and I shot it on the edge of the cliff because a lot of people just walk to the edge of cliffs for some reason, but he ended up jumping. I didn't know he was going to do that, so I try to get a couple hits on him. He hops on the Giga, so I jump away so I don't get bit, and now I'm thinking I need to get some high ground so I could pick him off. He got shadow mained off, so I was like, maybe I can get a free pick. It ends up pulling onto the tree for some reason. I jump over to go help my friend who was already mounted on the wall, trying to get some picks on him. He reels him off, and I figured he was going to get netted, so I stayed below ready with my Bloodstalker so I could slap him if he were to cut out or net the Bloodstalker. Alright, so right here I'm going along J3 and my friends are saying that they are fighting a Void Wyvern and a few other things, so I'm trying to get there as quick as possible and find out where they're at. So I see them fighting over here on the left. I go in first person to see if I can get a pick on the Void, but he flies away. So I'm thinking to myself, he's probably going to circle around and he's probably going to go for me, so if I jump in the air and pull out my net gun, I might be able to get a net on him. So I'm reloading my net gun as I'm hovering through the air, and when he goes for me, I end up netting him. With his wyvern netted, I jump over there as quick as possible so I can get some hits on him before he cuts his wyvern free. I ended up killing him, and it was a pretty easy kit. If I would have seen him cut his wyvern, I probably would have reeled him in so that way he wouldn't be able to hop on it once it was cut free. These nakeds right here, they have like crossbows and random things, and they were still like in his tribe, so they were able to hop on the Spino or anything if I killed them. So I ended up killing those guys so they can't hop on anything. So my friend reels the guy in, I meet him halfway and kill him before he's able to cut out. I jump so that way the Spino can't kill me, but now I notice I'm out of stam. I'm not going to be able to jump, and my Stalker's low, so I'm not going to be regaining stam very quickly. I don't hop off just in case the Spino does come for me and tries to hit me, he won't be able to. And I'm just kind of sitting in the back trying to get some free picks on him, maybe pull him off so my friends can kill him. And he kind of just running in circles, trying not to get picked. I don't know why, but for some reason he leveled his Spino and it did like a weird emote, so my friend was able to reel him off. While he's being reeled in, I see he's throwing Z, so I'm just trying to get up there, but I'm not trying to get Z'd off, so I stay on the edge. He ends up Z'ing my Stalker on his way back, so I follow him. This is kind of risky, but I knew if I netted him, I could club him out because he has no shield. So sure enough, I netted him and I go in for the club. I knock him out, and he had a decent kit and a rhino on him, so I just popped the rhino right away and killed his Spinos with it. So in this clip, I had chased two people down to the bottom of the ocean. They were on a Shadow Main and a Bloodstalker. They're not on the same team, so I was just kind of third partying, trying to come in and get some easy hits on him. Now notice how I'm focusing one person this entire fight until he's dead. Now the reason why I do this is because as soon as I get one killed, that's one less person that's able to net or attack me. So I'm just focusing him and he ends up dying to drown, like drowning underwater. So now it's just one other guy left, and he tries to go for the kit, so I go in for some easy hits on him and he nets me off. So while I'm cutting my Bloodstalker, he's probably dying to drowning as well, and my shoulder cannon hits him and just kills him instantly. So now all I gotta do is hop on my Bloodstalker, go back to the surface, get some oxygen, and then come back down and get the kids. So right here I had been getting pinged by their parasaur so I could try to bait someone out, and while I was orbital camming, I noticed that someone was running out. So I met him at the entrance. I'm jumping around trying to get some picks on him. I go over the cliff spot and see if I can swing under and get some hits on him, but it was kind of hard to see, so I tried to reel him in, but it was lagging. We're just kind of waiting for the lag to come back, and as soon as it does, I hop off to go for a net. Sadly, my net gun wasn't reloaded, but I was still able to get a hit on him. It was kind of risky because my Stalker was in the crossfire, but as soon as I net him, I try to go for a bola. The bola doesn't throw for some reason, so I throw another one, and I miss. Now at this point, he's on foot, so all I know is I have a Perlovia in my hotbar, and that's a free kit. I pop it so he's not able to run into the cave again, and while he's stunned, I go for a bola, so I know I can get the secure kill. Like, I know if I bola him, he's dead. There's nothing he can do. If I would have just tried to comp him right then, he would have been unstunned and been able to fight back, but because I bullied him, even though he did get unstunned, I was still able to get the kit. So right now, one of my friends is getting chased by blood wyverns, and I have a gig on follow, so I whistle to attack, and it ends up killing both of their wyverns, and one of them jumps in the water. I go for an easy reel in on him. As soon as I reel him in, I go to try to bowl him, but it kills him because it has like 2600 melee. Stalkers are like super broken. Now at this point, Cameron's chasing him in the water, and he's like, yo, could you help me out? And I'm like, yeah. So I jump over there in the water, I reel him in so that way I can kill him. As soon as I reel him in, I try to go for the bullets again, but he cut out super fast for some reason, and he ended up doing like a 180 and netting me off my Stalker. It was kind of cool actually. But at this point, I put on my fed chest so maybe I could club him out or something, because he's only swimming in the water. But Cameron's like, nah, I'm gonna kill him with my flamethrower in the air. So he grapples him, takes him through the air, and flames him. This is a really good strategy because while he's flying through the air, he's not able to pop med brews or anything. He won't even be able to pop a beer. So he ends up dying to fall damage and the flamethrower. Right here in this clip, I have a Perlovia in the ground, and I'm waiting for literally anything to pounce on me. Mana, Shadow Main, Bloodstalker. So that way I could get an easy pick when I noticed a Stalker had hopped on the pillar across from me. I'm sitting here debating what I'm going to do, see what he's going to do, and I kind of had an idea in my head. What if I jumped, pulled out my net gun, and shot a net at him to see if I can net him off? So that's exactly what I did. I hovered, pulled out my net gun, shot it at him. I netted him off, and he fell off the pillar for some reason. I don't know why he did that, but he left his Bloodstalker there, hopped off. I reel him in, and the cool thing about Bloodstalkers is if you reel someone in and then instantly hop off, it still tries to reel them in. So that's exactly what I did, but he ended up hitting it with a cryopod somehow. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he was able to run away, and I know he has a bunch of turrets in the water over there, so I didn't want to go too close, and I whistled my Stalker passive, whistled it back so that way I could go back and kill his. So in this clip there was 2 wyverns camping the spawns, and I was kind of in the water just vibing, seeing what they're doing, seeing if maybe I could get a pick on them or bait them into the water so that way I could net them or pick them off. And the void came for me, so I jumped in the air, went into the water to avoid the stun. He ended up falling in the water, so I popped up to get a quick pick on him. When I got the reticle, for some reason it wouldn't let me pick him even though it showed I could. I'm spamming RT seeing if I could pick the blood wyvern as well, and it's still not letting me. So I know the void's gonna come in for another stun. I shoot a net up to stun or to net him, and he ends up falling off because I netted his player instead of the wyvern. I didn't know this at this point, so I tried to throw a bolo when I reeled him in, and he netted me off. So I pull out my net gun to try to net him, but he was already netted from whenever I hit him off his wyvern. So my friend finally finished crafting dust, came, helped me kill him, and now it's a 1v2. It's me and my friend on Stalkers versus the blood wyvern guy. Now he's waiting for his friend to spawn in. He whistled the wyvern over to the beach, and we know this, so we're trying to kill him as quick as possible, maybe even kill his friend when he spawns in and put him on another timer. So at this point I'm knowing I'm going to need a little bit of high ground so I could either net him or let him pick me. I try to get some high ground, I jump and I pull out my net gun to try to net him. He does end up picking me, so I try to net his wyvern. I'm not sure why it wasn't working. Normally I try to shoot ahead of the wyvern so that way the net has like a higher chance of hitting. But for some reason I just shot tons of nets at this wyvern and it still didn't work even though it wasn't pre-netted. So finally I netted him. I pulled out the flamethrower because I know I'm not sick and I have 550 HP. I can survive a fall from any height and sprint away. If I even took him down to half HP, the odds of him being able to survive the fall damage was very unlikely, so it was perfect. Now the reason why I wanted to show this clip was because any water point cave where you can have a Bloodstalker on top, whether it be Shadow or Carno, all those are great for either defending or attacking with a Bloodstalker, because every time they swim through the water, all you gotta do is reel them in and have like either a Theory or a Mantis, anything with a lot of DPS, even your Death Wall to shoot them whenever you reel them out the water. Another item that's really good for carrying whenever you ride a Bloodstalker is a shoulder cannon. And not only do you get the heat vision where you can see the enemies, but you also get a reticle that shows you where they're at. And whenever it reels them in, it brings them very close. So your shoulder cannon has an easy hit to hit the players. Like I killed that guy, my Bloodstalker didn't even kill him. So for this last clip, I wanted to talk about positioning. Now we were rushing this cave, and we decided to pack up and leave because we had trolls on our main server, but while they were all packing up and leaving, I decided to stay back and wait for them to rush out. Now I know that they're going to be coming out this hallway right below me, so I just sat on the ceiling, waited for someone to come out, and sure enough, I reeled the guy in. He ended up cutting out, but I slapped him on the way down and killed him. Now, because I knew that they were going to run out, and I put myself in a spot where they wouldn't predict me being, I was able to get a free kill. But that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed or learned something new. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.